guest is brought to you by Print Ovations. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have to applaud shortly here. I'm going to give you the opportunity to do it at precisely the right moment. Print Ovations was the first sponsor for this unusual event. They came to a meeting at the Mastercraft building on July 27th where I introduced this general idea. They said, you know what, that sounds pretty cool. We're all in. And ladies and gentlemen, Print Ovations is responsible for all your printing needs. Obviously, analog and digital work together in an integrated marketing plan. They also do a wonderful job with advertising specialties. They also are involved in the exhibit business, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know where I'm going right now, let me be explicit. How about, this is the first time anybody has ever seen this backdrop, this news backdrop. It's been brought to you by, donated completely right here in the middle, by Print Ovations' Daryl Decker and his associate, Mr. Dan Wells. What do you think about Print Ovations' backdrop, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah! I'm so excited about it, and I want to thank, and so the first person you want to go see tonight is Daryl Decker and Dan Wells over here to my immediate left. To your right, they are very resourceful people and really care about generating business for your brand. So thank you so much, Daryl and Dan. All right. My first guest is the only guy that could start this unusual and first thing. I got to tell you, I've known Mr. Bruce Rieker for 15 or 20 years. I met him when I called on Tom Osborne's congressional campaign office back in Grand Island. Must have been, like I said, 15 or 20 years ago. And I met him there. He had a great entourage. And he struck me right off the bat as a cool guy, but kind of a smart aleck, actually. And so we hit it off right away. And Bruce and I have kept in touch over the years. He's evolved. This is a man that right now is in the belly of the beast. All right? Think about that for a minute. What does that really mean? In our society, economy today, of course, the health insurance, the Affordable Health Care Act has changed the landscape and is going to continue changing everything across the country and here in Nebraska. So he's right in the middle of that. He is a lobbyist. He's in charge of government relations for the Nebraska Hospital Association. He's a bright man. He's an interesting man. He's a man you want to know. Please welcome my good friend, Mr. Bruce Rieker, everybody. Yeah. Hey! Hey! How'd you like that intro, bud?
I didn't deserve it, but thank you.
You're looking sharp today.
Oh, flattery will get you everywhere.
Okay, okay. Did you bring a contingency from Lincoln or anything like that?
You know, they all are
They all backed out, didn't
they?
they?
Well, they're dealing. All my colleagues are dealing with healthcare reform.
Well, there you go. They're busy.
I've heard it's a big issue.
It's a big issue, and you're right in the middle of it. You know, our theme here tonight, as you know, is Success Summit. And that's a pretty broad topic. I know that you had a unique experience relating to Tom Osborne in his early coaching years, and it relates directly to overcoming adversity and stuff. Why don't you elaborate on that a little bit? I think you have a unique perspective on all of that.
Well, as Lynn mentioned, I worked for Congressman Tom Osborne. I didn't know him before he decided to run for Congress, but got to know him. We all know Tom Osborne as the legendary football coach. But him being my mentor, I had the privilege of learning from him as he went through some of the challenges of his career. And for those of you who are old enough to remember, Tom and his football teams lost the first 7 years to Oklahoma. You know, most of us forgot that. We don't recall that. They remember him as the legendary coach, but there was a time in his first 7 years that, in fact, he interviewed for the job at Colorado, and they thought about taking the whole staff with him. But the beautiful part about it is Tom chose to learn from those challenges, and adversity truly is our ally. It's our friend. Yeah. It helped him be stronger. He could have, complained about it, but he took on the challenge. He figured out how to recruit better athletes, how to play at a higher level, and then this is my term, I think, but he and several other coaches created what I would call co-opetition. Yeah, now tell us about that, because that's actually a word that's been recently woven into the business fabric, exactly, where we're cooperative with the company, but we're also competitors, and we have this unusual relationship. And he pioneered that idea, basically. Well, he did, and he and a couple of his colleagues, and as strange as it may sound, they're his adversaries on the field, but legendary coaches such as Bobby Bowden from Florida State, Barry Switzer. Believe it or not, Barry Switzer and Tom are polar opposites, but yet they're best of friends. They're fierce competitors, but they visit each other's practice. They talked about how they'd approach the game, and they learned from each other, and they shared secrets. And then it was the challenge to outdo each other knowing what each other knew.
So they hit the field, they'd informed each other, they'd made each other better competitors, and then they hit the field and they competed with each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah, amazing. You know, you've got an incredible career. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing these days, obviously in the middle of the healthcare thing. It's a very complex, polarizing, people have very strong opinions, and of course you're supposed to be an advocate for the hospital industry and so on, but tell us how do you deal with the complexity and the suspicion and all the different emotions that surround this healthcare issue?
Well, I think that the most important thing is to maintain your composure, to stay with your vision. Don't get caught in the noise. I'm going to draw back on something that Tom Osborne, he has a doctorate in educational psychology.
Wow.
And one of the things that they coach their players is how to handle adversity and some of the turbulence. I call it positive turbulence, what we're going through. We will come out at the end and we will solve this problem. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but dealing with positive turbulence has a positive attitude. But nonetheless, one of the things that he coached his players was always to keep their hands down, to keep their mouth shut on the field, because when your hands come up, naturally your mouth comes open and then everything escalates.
Really?
No, seriously. That's one of the many things.
I thought you were leading me down a little path there.
Well, you know, I'm not taking you.
It wouldn't have been the first time, by the way.
Well, you know, I try. But there's those sorts of things, but staying focused on your mission, your goals, and coming back to what do I do? Yes, I work for the Nebraska Hospital Association, and we represent 89 hospitals.
Yeah.
They employ 43,000 people and have about $4.9 billion in net patient revenues per year. So it's kind of a big deal here in the state.
Big deal, absolutely.
And with healthcare reform, there's a lot of things going on, but even on top of that, the economic challenges of our country, things like that. You know, we experienced a government shutdown. Those things play a role in what we're doing.
Yeah.
There's politics involved. There's for-profit agendas. There's not-for-profit agendas. But my mission is to keep as many of our hospital representatives focused on the target, on the prize. And it's very easy to get caught up in the noise that may be going on over here.
Political stuff.
Exactly.
Now let me ask you this. Is your definition at a personal level of success, you come home, you see your family and so on, and you say, I succeeded today. Is your version of success the same? Would a hospital administrator say, hey, Rieker, we succeeded today? Is it the same as the group of people that you represent, or do you have a deeper level that you define success around as well, something that's more private?
Well, it's definitely much more private. As we talk about things, as I do inner reflection, there isn't a day, there isn't a moment that goes by not looking in the past, but I think about what did I leave on the table? What am I doing right that I need to do better? What am I not doing that I should be doing? And what am I doing that I should quit doing?
Yeah.
You know, how can I be much more successful? And the competition, the people that I deal with in the state legislature in Washington, D.C., trust me, neither one of those places is short of egos. We can, there's quite a few agendas out there, but, staying true to the mission, making sure that I zealously represented our hospitals.
Yeah.
When I go home at night, as long as I know that I upheld my integrity, that I was true to my character,
Okay.
That people could trust me.
Now,
Good
let me ask you one final question as we wrap up here, Bruce. Do you still struggle, or do you may have given this up years ago, but self-doubt is a huge issue because you keep climbing higher mountains, all right?
Sure.
You keep raising the bar and you put yourself in situations that are more and more challenging, more and more complex, and so on. Do you ever say to yourself, and I think a lot of the young folks that are here from Central High, as well as everybody, I guess, we all struggle with self-doubt as we climb up the summit, right? Mm-hmm. Do you struggle with self-doubt occasionally, or do you feel like you're at the top of your game and you're just kind of coasting, you've done all this before, you know what to do the very next time, or do you go back privately and say, what the heck do I do now?
Oh, I have those moments of self-doubt, but I also know that I know every day gets better. I get better at what I do because I'm driven to be better. I'm not at the top of my game. I probably won't be at the top of my game when I retire because I always think, and this is the way I lead my team. And I explain it to them. It's like, look, no matter how good we get, we can be better.
Yeah.
And so it's not to say that we're failing or anything like that, but we keep driving to a higher level and to do more because there's always more that can be done. I don't measure our success compared to other people.
Yeah.
I measure our success by how well we did with what we have to work with.
Okay.
The time, people, and resources, money.
Extremely important. Yeah, your personal brand of success. And I'm sure knowing you're always redefining what is success for us and for me right now.
Well, in this world, you got to adjust rapidly.
You know, we're going to talk more about that, actually. Aaron Davis is going to be here, some other people. We're going to talk about adaptation and reading the environment so that you can tweak and have a real relevant sense of what success is given this thing right now. But we've had a great interview here, my friend. Thanks for coming to Lincoln. Ladies and gentlemen, I think he's at the top of his game right now. How about it for Bruce Rieker, everybody? There you go, man.
Thanks, Lynn.
Thank you so much. Great job. Awesome. Is he great?